is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Oregon football.
It's about them going on the field and getting better.
He's gone. He's gone. See you later. Touchdown, Ducks.
We're going to play with relentless effort. We want to attack the ball at a high level.
Pressure comes. They got him again.
And I want to see those guys playing for each other.
Gives it to James again, and he may go all the way. Goes it down the middle. There's Pez Johnson. Why not just score?
These guys come to work, man. They're wired the right way. Always about hearing the message, not the tone.
There's no place like Oregon. We do it different. We're growth mindset oriented and just great people.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, Protect What Matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
Hey, welcome into our special every Wednesday night. Wednesday's special because head coach is here, and he gets in early, and we get to talk something other than football. We talked a little baseball tonight. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, a little bit of baseball.
Yeah, I know.
I love that story.
Yeah.
He just told.
Maybe bring that up
Maybe
sometime.
bring that up a little
Welcome
more,
into our Country Financial Studios. It's our Toyota Coaches Show. Pepsi gets you our coaches interview every week. Last week, Coach, you said something about this year, after last year, the change. You said you got a few more gray hairs from last year.
Yeah.
How many more you got after Saturday night?
Yeah, I get them. I'm getting them quick around here.
That was a heck of a ball game. Props to Idaho for coming in, playing a good hard ball game.
Yeah.
But I just want to talk about this right away because the defense I thought played really, really well. I'm sure there's some things that didn't go well, but in 12 possessions, Idaho had to punt 7 times, intercepted twice, turned it down over on downs once. They only had 2 successful dives. One was a trick play.
Yeah.
You had to be somewhat proud, I guess, of your defense.
Well, you just mentioned the trick play that scored for a touchdown. And
Not happy about that.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that. No, I mean, there was some certainly some highlights, but the great thing about football is they all matter, right? Every play matters, and the next play is always the most important play. So we did some things really well, and then there's some things that we certainly got to improve on.
A negative is they only ran 47 plays. So how do you evaluate 47 plays? I mean, you want film of guys, but 47 plays is what you want, too.
Well, yeah, and that's where practice shows up, right? You got to be able to evaluate film in practice. But there were some limited opportunities, but that's kind of what you hope happens on defense is they don't have as many opportunities to go score.
It's only one game, but do you get a chance to start seeing or developing some depth and some numbers on defense?
Yeah, for sure. And again, when you have 47 plays, it kind of limits the opportunities for guys to be able to hop in games. But yeah, 100% we're getting some depth on that side of the ball.
I'm really glad we start with defense because, I mean, that's the first thing I had on my list. And I just thought right off the bat, first snap, pressure on the quarterback. And throughout the game, but you guys set the tone early, didn't you?
Yeah, and they did a good job offsetting that with some screen game. They had a lot of success with screens. But we played it really well on third down. We were able to stop them on third down. But some of those successful plays they had were second and first. But outside of that, we were able to, do a good job in the pocket and keeping the quarterback contained.
You guys spend a ton of time watching tape or the video of the game. You probably started after you left the locker room last night or the interview set with the media and then spend the weekend doing that. How far into the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, do you dwell on that or work on that before you let it go and work on next week?
Yeah, we try to put the game to bed on Sunday, and really halfway through the day on Sunday. So we watch it, evaluate it. Now we'll always go back and say, okay, do we need to go back and look at something, throughout the week and throughout the season, right? We try to do what we call self-scout, evaluate what we called, what was successful against us. But as far as putting the game to bed and going to the next opponent, by midday Sunday, we're on to the next team.
Interesting.
I think that's what makes this show so tough.
Yeah, you guys got to talk about it for the rest of the week.
Right, yeah. We're asking you questions about last week, and you're looking ahead already.
That's
right. So talking about looking ahead, you guys evaluated the film. How's practice gone so far? Your 4 practices basically into it.
Yeah, it's been a good week so far. Guys have really busted their tail to have some success out there. We've had some really good competitive periods.
We're still talking about defense. What do you want, or what do you tell your defense that you want more from them? What do you need your defense to improve on?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about screen game, doing a better job against the screens, and then eliminating explosive plays. You can call them trick plays, but it's football, right? They still count, and we need to eliminate some of those explosives.
Not trying to focus in on one or two players specifically, but Uyunglele really is developing into the player that you guys have worked so hard, and he's worked so hard to be. Talk a little bit about him and his performance in that game.
Yeah, I'm really proud of his development. That edge room in general has done a really good job creating success, but, Mateo had a really big game and is a force to be reckoned with for sure.
How difficult is it to really know where you are with the team through fall until you play that first game? Is that first game really your first obvious chance to see?
I mean, yeah, it's certainly different. Getting to see game action as opposed to practice action, I think it gives a great indication of where things are at and where you can improve.
I asked you last week about your leaders. How the leaders step forward this week?
Yeah, they've shown up. They've shown up. It's their team, right? So they've done a good job leading the guys, taking some opportunities to speak to the team when given the opportunity, and then also creating some of those opportunities themselves.
Things you hear, I've heard for years, biggest improvement at a team is usually from week one or game one to game two. Is that true? Is that usually?
I don't know. I mean, some teams, yes, not all teams, right? But there's certainly an opportunity for us to improve this week, and it's about that growth mindset that we've kind of always had since we've been here.
Try to stay away from talking about injuries, but it looked like you guys came through pretty clean in this game.
Yeah, I had a couple guys get dinged up, but yeah, for the most part, pretty clean.
You had a couple of different things you're doing in this game that are all brand new. Helmet communication and the tablets on the side. So helmet communication with the quarterback and the offense and the defense, did that go fairly smooth, or is that still a work in progress?
Yeah, it went well. I would say that's something that walking away from the game, it's the newest thing for us as coaches. So it's the thing we probably spend the most time talking about after the game. Okay, how can we make that better? What can we do to improve? Because that's the part that you haven't done. You do it in practice, but it's not the same. It's a little bit different with the fans that we have in Autzen. They make it pretty awesome. So that sometimes makes it hard to communicate on the sideline. The tablets were certainly an effective tool for us.
And the communication between quarterback and the sideline isn't the only communication, because you're still doing signs, aren't you?
Yeah, some. There's definitely a combination of both.
Okay. And the quarterback gets signs, but do the offensive line and then the wide receivers, everybody looking at the same thing, or is it different?
It depends on the play. It depends on the situation. Offensive line generally isn't getting any signals, but everybody else within the team can be getting signals at some point.
Wow.
Had to call a little bit of depth. Jeff Bossa not playing all the downs. Bryce Betcher steps forward, one of the leading tacklers on the team. Talk about him playing two sports and still doing both well.
Yeah, he likes tackling, so it fits him, right? And he's been really consistent through fall camp and even in his play here in the past. So he's always been a guy that's around the ball and does a good job getting there.
We talked about the trick play. Ducks have been known to run a trick play or two. I'm sure we'll see some this year somewhere too. How do you coach against that kind of a play? I mean, it's part of the football game, but it's not something you see on a regular basis.
Yeah, but you can recognize it on film, and it's something that Idaho certainly had. Before the play happens, we're letting them the trick's coming. It's just a matter of how well do you defend it, and we didn't defend it well there.
Communications thing? Is it basically communications on the field?
Yeah, just do your job, right? You have a job to do, and we didn't execute our job properly on that.
Crazy.
Special teams. I mean, I hate to jump to special teams now. You usually go offense, defense, and special teams. I'm going to jump to it now. I thought special teams were really good. Obviously, kickoff coverage, never had to cover because kick it out of the end zone.
Right.
Punt coverage, never return ball, which is what you want to see, good average. Talk about your special teams.
Yeah, obviously kicking the ball at the end zone makes it a little bit easier on kickoff cover, right? And they had a really dynamic returner, so I thought that was good for us. Kickoff return really didn't get an opportunity because their guy was kicking out of the end zone as well, or kicking it deep. And, in PBR, I think we lost a little bit of hidden yardage that we could have done a good job, but the kicks were a little bit erratic. And most important thing is we got possession of the ball back. And then, like you said, in punt, we were able to flip the field and make sure they weren't able to return it. So certainly some positive there. Made a couple kicks, missed one that we want to be able to hit too. So some good back and forth, but certainly opportunities for growth there, and thought our guys performed okay there.
As you get ready for each game each week, I know your players look at film probably, you hope, as much as you do.
Well, no, they don't look at film as much.
No, I'm sure they don't. But when they do they come to you or your coaching staff at times and say, Coach, I saw this. I think we can do this. Do they have much input in game plan?
Our guys watch a lot of film, and they'll certainly bring up what they recognize. It's important that the players have a good feel for what they feel comfortable doing on the field. Yeah. So I think it's great when you have communication like that.
Yeah, are you going to offense yet? I want to go to offense really bad, as you can tell.
I'll tell you, we'll get our first break in here,
so
we'll come back and get into the offensive side, and we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming opponent, Boise State, coming in here, and about the crowd, what it was like for the opening game of the year. It was spectacular. It's our Toyota Coaches Show. We're here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially, like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give Duck fans more for the things they care about, more for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your Duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Oregon football from Learfield.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the Toyota Coaches Show here in our Country Financial Studio. Head Coach Dan Lanning is here. My wife is watching, so I want a record of the fact that I've been convinced that I have to start.
Got to bring the beard.
Got to bring the beard back.
Got to bring the beard back.
Yes. Now looking forward to heading home this evening after this. But I enjoyed it.
It's a good look on you, man.
No, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Let's talk about offense. You want to jump into it? I'll let you do it.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel, efficiency. And I thought, if anything, and more so than anything, he didn't make bad decisions. He took what the defense gave. And as much as you want to go up top, the defense wasn't given that. I just thought he made really good decisions all game long.
Yeah, he did. He protected the ball. 41 completions, 300 and whatever yards. I mean, he had a lot of success. I think taking what was there, and that can be frustrating at times as a quarterback when you want to be able to move the ball down the field, but being able to be the guy that can take what's available to you is sound play and what you want.
Very efficient. Very efficient.
That's exactly what I was going to say too. Is it's just so tempting to want to try something deep when it's not there just to make that big play, and he made great plays.
It's our Pepsi coaches interview. Head Coach Dan Lanning. Your offense didn't run the ball as well, I know, as you wanted to or expected them to. I think a lot of people look at the offensive line and say it was the offensive line, but it's a team thing. I mean, it's your receivers blocking downfield. It's your running backs hitting the right hole and making the right cut. So looking at your offense in the run game, what did you see that you weren't really happy with?
Well, I think you said it all, right? I think, schematically we can challenge ourselves to give guys better opportunities. The technique that we use when we get there and then where we finish, where we're pointing runs. I mean, all those things come together, and when something out of that list doesn't show up, right, it can affect your ability to be effective there. We had some efficient runs, but we didn't have any really explosive runs at the same time, so got to create more of those.
Now, look like a couple times maybe opportunities for bigger runs, and guy maybe stumbled a little bit or slipped on the turf or that type of deal. So the opportunities were there, weren't they?
Yeah, there were certainly some opportunities looking back, and those are the things we got to find a way to take advantage of.
Talk about blocking a little bit in the whole team. I've heard the term "no block, no rock." I mean, if you can't block as a wide receiver receiver or a tight end, we're not going to throw you the balls. You're probably not going to be on the field. You've got a tight end group that is really veteran. Talk about how important it is for wide receivers and for tight ends in your running game.
Well, that's really where explosive plays happen, right? You can dial up making sure everybody in the box is protected and blocked, but when you start getting the ball out to the perimeter, that's when those plays that are 5-yard gains, 6-yard gains turn into 15, 20-yard gains. So we have to be really good at that to create that success.
Talk about your running backs and the importance in the pass game, because it gets so focused on the run game and gets forgotten that they caught 8 balls between the two of them, Whittington and Jordan James, for big yards. So the importance of those guys being reliable receivers as well as reliable running backs.
Yeah, that's always been an important part of our offense. I mean, if you look at last year, I think Bucky had more receptions than any other running back, in the nation. Yeah. So we've always used the running backs, the tight ends, the wideouts in the passing game, and when they can catch the ball in the backfield, it's another person to defend.
You weren't able to, we'll say, stretch the field away a lot of, it's exciting for the fans if it's there. I think you had 3 explosion plays, which are, over 20 yards or so. Is that a function of just not enough time for the quarterback to let those receivers get downfield? I mean, where is that passing game?
I think there's a lot of different ways that those kind of plays get created, and some of those are in 5 or 6 man protections. Sometimes they're 7 man protections, but it's also based on the coverage that you get. So all those things have to work in sync to be able to get those plays to occur.
It's so easy to get locked in on Tez because of the special player that he is and all the balls that he can catch and instincts to find the soft zone and that type of deal. But 10 different receivers he spread the ball around to. Yeah. The importance of having those guys paying attention to. Talk about that.
Yeah, I just think it's a real challenge for a defense when you can. You can put the ball in a lot of different areas, whether it's the tight ends, the wideouts, the backs. So it's something we want to continue to be able to do.
I didn't get to see the locker room, but I've heard some of the guys talk about there wasn't a lot of celebrate going on. It was pretty quiet, and guys were frustrated with the way they played or maybe the outcome of that ball game. Even though you get the W, this team seemed to understand that they left something on the field.
Well, I think our guys always want the truth, right? And I'll always tell them the truth. And every one of us in our organization have high expectations for what we can create and who we need to become. So we left that locker room thinking about the work that we wanted to be able to achieve this week.
I had 2 people ask me this week. Rhythm. Try to get your offense of the rhythm. They hear us say it on the radio. They hear you sometimes say we just never got into a rhythm. Explain a little bit what rhythm would be to just the general football fan out there from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah, just being in sequence. I mean, the reality is we had some long drives where we're having to take 14, 13, 12 plays to get into the end zone. And that goes back to part of the explosive plays. Whenever you're able to score in 3 plays, that's going to have a little bit more success when you can push the ball down the field a little bit, create some of those explosives. It allows you to get in sync. And, when you have a negative play, let's say a penalty or something like that might affect us and put us back behind the chains, it's hard to get back into sequence.
How much in practice, and there's no way to put a time on it, I guess, do you work on ball security? Because your running backs really handle the ball really well. The exchange between the quarterback and running back. In the passing game, turnovers were, again, as good as you can get.
Yeah, it happens in every period, every single practice, every single day. So it's a constant thing. It's an all-the-time thing.
Yeah, possessions become so important in a game type of deal, and a turnover is a free pass for the other team to be able to get the ball. And you guys, over the last couple of years, obviously have taken care of it well. And as I mentioned to you before, I thought Dylan Gabriel's decision-making and not putting the ball in harm just helps your offense that much more, doesn't it?
No doubt, no doubt.
I want to get in before we get you off here, and that is talk about the fans. And, I mean, that was the opening game of the year. That was Idaho. In past years, I'll just be honest, Oregon fans pretty much knew that if a team was a lower division team, didn't expect much, they wouldn't show up. It was, to me, a respect for your team because that place was packed and loud. Talk about what that means to your staff, to you as a head coach, and obviously your players.
Yeah, our fans are unbelievable. I mean, I truly believe we have the best fans in the nation. They make that experience so much fun on Saturday. They make it tough for our opponent, so it's a really important piece.
Do you want fans to be quiet when you're on offense?
Yeah, on offense you can get quiet, and on defense be loud. We love that. Celebrate the big plays, though.
That was a Labor Day crowd to remember.
Oh, it was.
I mean,
There's no
you
doubt
just
about it.
haven't seen that in the past, and to be able to see it packed like that early was great. Boise State coming to town. A lot of Idaho fans coming this direction. Yeah. It's going to be a big game. Talk about the Broncos a little bit, if you would.
Yeah, they're a really good team. Obviously, they have a history here with us here at Oregon, and they've had a lot of success. I think their running back's as talented as anybody that we will go against or I've gone against since I've been here. He's an NFL-type guy. They're really efficient on offense, defense. They create a lot of different looks. they're just a savvy team, successful team.
What kind of an offense they're going to run? I mean, most West Coast offenses now are spread out, 3 or 4 receivers and a running back. Same thing for Boise State?
Yeah, they're pretty multiple. You'll see more 12 personnel than maybe your traditional offense, where they're going to line up with 2 tight ends and wideouts, but they'll line up in a lot of 11 personnel as well, some spread looks, and then they find a lot of creative ways to run the ball and then take shots downfield.
You talked about Genty and obviously the NFL body he has and the way that he plays. But the guy sitting in behind him, it's not too bad. Gaines as well, isn't he?
Yeah, went for over 100 yards this past week. You've got some other backs on the roster, too, that I think have been dinged up that'll probably be ready to go for us as well.
You might have mentioned it when we started the week of practice. You've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now you got a couple of days left. The guys have responded well, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Great preparation so far this week and some more time to prepare.
You're anxious to look ahead. I mean, you're already looking ahead, one game at a time, but you want to know, and you got to look at that W and put everything aside. Coaches won't, players won't, but for fans, that's a W, and that's really your goal, isn't it?
Yeah, our goal is to win for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go start growing a beard. We're going to let you go back to practice, and I'm going to hear about when I get home. It's our Toyota Coaches Show, Pepsi Coaches Interview. Coach, we always appreciate you coming in on Wednesday night.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we're going to come back with more on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. I think Joey's got a guest coming up.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. That's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially, like our remarkable checking and duck debit card that give duck fans more for the things they care about, more for the game, more for gear, more for a bright future. Earn interest, show your duck devotion, and start earning more today. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit.
The Oregon Football Coaches Show continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
Shouting inside the Country Financial Studio is always a good thing. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Joey Mack. Joining us is Jabar Muhammad tonight. All right, so you hear shout. Now you've experienced shout.
Uh-huh.
What are your feelings when you hear that song now after hearing it once at Autzen Stadium?
Oh, man, it's crazy. I'm actually familiar with the song Shout because I grew up watching, like, The Temptations, and it's actually, and it's actually on a movie. So I was already familiar with it, and then when I heard it at Austin for the first time, man, it was cool. It was real surreal. So to see that, man, I was kind of excited.
You're going to fit in perfectly at Oregon already. Okay, so we have a tradition, and I did not warn you about this. Okay. Every time you come in the studio for the first time, you got to tell your 2-minute life story.
2-minute life story. All right.
Goal is to get as close to 2 minutes as possible.
Okay.
The best Oregon football time, I think, is still Casey Rogers. Last year he was 203.86.
Okay.
So I think you can get 2 minutes on the nose.
2 minutes is a good thing, or
2 minutes is a good thing. We like exactly 2 minutes.
Oh, snap! All right. I could try to get extended to 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Set. Go.
All right. So Jabar Muhammad, come from a family of 9. I got a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters. Real grounded family. Got a lot of morals and things like that. Started playing football when I was around 3 or 4, flag football. Got a lot of brothers and sisters. Always aspired to be like them. Started training for cornerback when I was around like 5th, 6th grade, so my position was kind of solidified.
Wow.
Since then.
Early.
Yeah, real early. And then from there, I went to high school, went to DeSoto High School, which is a powerhouse back in Dallas. Like I said, I followed my brother's footsteps. He played corner in Nevada. My other big brother played safety at North Texas. I got a cousin that went to Oklahoma State. I have a little cousin at Texas right now. I got a little brother at SMU. And yeah, man, I did early college when I was in high school, so I came into college with my associate's degree. I came to college with 60 hours. I graduated at 19 May 2022. So I've been kind of I hope my mom don't watch, but I've been kind of coasting since then. So yeah, transferred to University of Washington after being at Oklahoma State, and then obviously had a run there. My coach left, so I got in the portal, kind of wanted something different. Got around the defensive staff, man, and been learning and just been elevating since then. So to be here is a blessing. My family's happy, I'm happy, man, and I just can't complain. So.
Minute 27. That's pretty good. Honestly, that was pretty good. So, I always like to do that because I don't know necessarily what you're proud of. It sounds like you're proud of your family.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, I couldn't, with the sacrifices and things that they made and things in the game that they've taught me. Like you said, my pops always tell me, man, I've been 16 before, I've been 17 before. You ain't got a lot of me or anything, anything like that. So the game that they give me, the sacrifice they give me and things like that, man, when you get older, you really start to cherish stuff like that. So I'm real proud of them. I'm real thankful to be in this position. I'm really thankful to have them in my life.
So family of 9, which number are you?
I'm the middle child, so I like to say I'm the golden child.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Yeah, that makes sense. Every middle child would say that.
Most definitely.
You're looking at one over there. Scott is thrilled with this answer.
Golden child.
So very athletic family. I wanted to ask you about this. What's the backyard football game like in your house?
Man, oh my goodness. We used to play when it was too cold or sometimes a little bit too hot outside. We used to go in the garage and play knee football sometimes. But man,
I love that
back,
so much.
I like to say my family or my house, my immediate family was like the spot to be at because my pops and everything. So everybody used to be over there, man. Whether it's basketball, football, going running some hills or whatever it was, man. My house was the place to be at. But man, it was intense. Intense. I probably still got some beef with some of my cousins over some basketball games or some football games or things like that. But man, just being able to compete that young and being that competitive, man, it can do some things for you when you get to a higher level.
Your family instilled the competitiveness.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So who's the best athlete in the whole family?
Man, I'm gonna say me. Say me.
All right. Maybe better way to ask that question. You're the best athlete
Most
in the family.
definitely.
Who's the second best athlete?
Who's the second best, man? Since my 2 other brothers are washed up, man, probably have to say I'll probably say, my cousin's in the league, plays with the Vikings, so I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, so what position? Like, are you guys all similar? Like, what positions everybody play?
Okay, so everybody plays corner. My little brother at SMU, he's kind of like a hybrid, plays nickel, safety, corner, all that. But pretty much everybody plays DB. Everybody lives that island lifestyle.
Okay, so that's what I noticed when I was looking at like your family tree, like so many defensive backs, and I thought when you said that you zeroed in on your position so young, like, are you just the cornerback family?
Man, I mean, you can say that. You go to the DFW Metroplex, man, you say the last name Muhammad, everybody gonna think you talking about one of the DBs. But so most definitely a defensive back family.
Wow. So how did you all get there?
Like I said, so my older brother played. He played defensive back.
So older brother just set
the tone, and then everybody used to go to workouts with him. And then you kind of like just stick with it since then, and man, you get good at it. You stick good at it. It's like an art, man. You kind of just fall in love with it. Obviously, the position is really hard. We all know that, but like I said, it's like an art. You kind of fall in love with it. It's like poetry, and then like when you stick to it, man, it's cool.
What makes a good cornerback?
Man, I'll probably say just the confidence.
Really?
Man, I'll probably say that's 70% of the battle. Man, you got people who will bash you if something happens bad, man. Just sticking to the level you're training, just knowing who you are as a person, just knowing all the work you put in, no matter if you get beat or not. Just having that confidence, that's really important.
So someone who's watching, listening to the show tonight, like say they're, the 15-year-old maybe deciding what position.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the advice is get confident.
Oh man, if that's, I know a lot of kids want to play receiver and things nowadays, but man, I'll probably say, man, you got to get some confidence.
Yeah.
Most definitely, if you want to play corner, you got to get some confidence. Just be that confident guy, not necessarily cocky or arrogant,
Right.
man. Just have some confidence. Just know the level of training that you put in and all the work that you put in, man. Just know it's going to show.
So I felt like, I remember coaches, say 10 years ago, would always talk about how if you were really explosive, you'd end up playing receiver. You end up at a skill position, right? I feel like the pendulum has swung a bit toward defense.
Right.
Again. Like, what do you think as a student of the game? Have you kind of seen that yourself?
Yeah, most definitely. I see a lot of people who try to play receiver, but a lot of people who play corner run track
Right.
and things like that. So it's a different dynamic these days because man, with the explosive offenses and things like that, these guys you're covering, shoot, they're the opponent's team's best player.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough, but yeah, I see the dynamic switching a little bit.
You talk about that matchup. I think a lot of fans would hate me if I didn't ask you about this. You go up against a lot of good receivers that are wearing an Oregon uniform.
Yeah.
So now that you're on the Oregon side of things, we'll talk about that in a second. Don't worry. Now you're on the Oregon side of things. Like, what's the matchup like at practice with some of these receivers?
I mean, I love the way Coach Lanning runs it because it's not like just Jabar and Evan all day or Jabar and Tez all day, man. I'm going against guys like Justice Lowe, Kyler Casper, those guys, man. Trayshawn, those guys are good, man. It's like it's iron sharpens iron, man. When you're going against those different looks, man, it's not going to do anything but make you better. I might go with Evan. He's a speedy guy who can run a whole route tree. Tez, man, he's in that slot, man. You can't touch him. Trayshawn's bigger body, but also fast, slick, can go catch jump ball. Same with Kyler. J-Lo's a speed guy, man. It's talent across the board, man. It's like you're going to get better regardless.
You mentioned iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a common phrase that we hear around Oregon football. What about the two-spot practices? Like, how much does that – see, I knew I'd get a reaction like a little bit like that. Like, just tell fans how valuable that is.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing for me to say it. It's a whole other thing for you to say it.
Yeah, two spots very valuable. We all know depth in college football is important these days with the expanded playoffs and everything like that. So when you're getting young guys getting reps and the older guys also getting those same reps, man, it's like when they get in the game, obviously experience is your best teacher.
Right.
But when they get in the game, it won't be that new to them. They'll have some reps. They'll have some stuff under their belt.
Yeah. Jabar Muhammad's with us. Okay, I got to sneak in a timeout if we can. We're going to come back. I know you've been asked this before, but we'll think about it and stew on it all together. Why Oregon? Because we're all glad that you're here.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask that when we come back.
Cool.
Jabar Muhammad with us, Toyota Coaches Show. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, On Point is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Duck football.
Dump a short pass, it's intercepted. Oh, what a throw, what a catch. Pressure, steps up, goes down.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I left my heart
It is the Toyota Coaches Show. We're in the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mack. Jabar Muhammad is our guest. Round 2 with Jabar Muhammad. Okay, so we were talking about your journey. So you go to Oklahoma State, then Washington, now here at Oregon. Obvious question that I know you've been asked and have probably thought about how to answer this about 50 times by now.
Yeah.
But why Oregon? What was it about this place that made you want to be a Duck?
Yeah, so when after last year, I was really debating on if I wanted to enter my name in the NFL draft or come back. And when I sat down with my it was really my big brother and my dad. When I sat down with them two, we were talking about the pros and the cons and everything did I really do everything that I wanted to do in college or anything like that. So then obviously, my previous coach left at UW, and so I got in the portal, man. And when I got on the phone with Coach Lanning and everything, man, it was just crazy. We would start talking schemes and things like that. Coach Hamp, Coach Tosh, all of those guys. And I've never played for a defensive head coach ever in my career. So it was like we were speaking the same language, man. Just me being a corner, and Coach Hamp knows DB, Coach Lanning knows DB, and Coach Tosh, all them guys. When you get around those guys, you start talking some football things. Yeah. Man, it kind of just knocked me off my feet. So when we was having those conversations, man, I was just like, yeah, I know where I want to be. I know where I need to go.
Well, I'm going to speak for all Duck fans for a moment, and maybe those of you that are with us in the studio can agree with me. I'll say this in two ways, and I think you'll know exactly what I mean. When Oregon would play against you last year, it was like, man, Jabar Muhammad's really good. Now it's like, man, Jabar Muhammad's really good. Like, right? Yeah. So we're glad you're here. I asked you before, like, what makes a good cornerback, and I feel like you strike me as someone who's just like a junkie of the game.
Yeah.
So where'd that start? Where'd your love of football come from?
Yeah, so my dad coached me in Little League. I know I keep talking about my family, but my dad.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. He coached me in Little League, and he just taught me a lot of the fundamentals and things like that. And I'm going to say something here. I mean, Madden. I used to play Madden a lot coming up, and just knowing some of the schemes and things like that. And then obviously you have mentors back home that I kind of got around, like some trainers and things that kind of taught me specifically the cornerback position. And like I said, I come from a football family, man. So just being in love with the game. When it's not school, it was football. So just knowing, my dad always say, get ahead of the curve, and I know a lot of the times, kids in high school or kids even in middle school aren't really pride themselves on being football junkies. So I kind of try to do that, like just try to, be the best that I could be. And I knew that, being smart, having a high IQ would separate me from everybody else.
So Madden.
Yeah, Madden. Madden helps.
So you just run Engage 8 every time as a DB? Yeah,
no, you can't
exactly. We'll see how many people get that joke that I just made. Are you excited about the new game?
Madden,
college football.
Oh yeah. So
did you play that too, or was it just Madden? You go back and
I
forth?
play. It's the first time a game been back in 10 years. Yeah, I had to play it. Season's here, and I haven't played it since fall camp. So, but man, I played it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Your name came up as one who was pretty darn good at the game.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. I mean, yeah, I hear that sometimes, but I don't really dwell on it too bad.
Right, but once upon a time in fall camp, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I get it. I think it's really interesting though. Like, so I'm 31 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up same as you, like playing those games, and I think it was in a lot of ways, it introduced me to some of college football. Like,
right.
I feel like that's such a cool thing that you can recreate it in that way.
Most
Like,
definitely.
for you as a fan, as a kid growing up, I guess that was a big deal for you.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I had an Xbox 360, and I had call it NCAA 14, 13, one of those. So I remember playing it. And not too long ago when COVID struck, I remember getting reboot my Xbox back up. And just playing it. I was bored. Just started playing it again, man. And to see it just all come back, 4 or 5 years later. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so you talked about getting ahead of the curve.
Right.
I would say graduating at 19 is getting ahead of the curve.
Most definitely.
So how'd you do it?
So like I said, so I took 60 hours in high school since I was a freshman. I took 60 hours, and when I got to college, man, I had I only needed 70 more. So man, my pops told me, man, just load up. Then it was COVID, so it was like online. I'm giving y'all some game here. It was all online. So man, just load up on the classes, man. You ain't gotta go to class. Just do it all online. Just knock it out. So, like I used to tell him, it's easier. I'm taking the class. You're not taking the class. Yeah. But yeah, he just told me load them up, man. I listened, and shoot, it all worked out.
Yeah. So what's the degree in?
General studies.
Okay. And then, so I was joking with you during the break that, like, so now you're going to be a doctor? I mean, you've had, like, so what have you done with some of the master's classes? I imagine that's been a cool thing to do.
Like I said, I've been taking little classes here and there. Whatever I feel interested in, like this past trimester, I took a self-defense class. You know, just dibbling, dabbling in little stuff.
There's one time in your life that you get to do that.
Yeah, just dibbling, dabbling in little stuff. Whatever just strikes me.
That's awesome. All right. So I always like to ask this to people that have gone through a journey, and you've done that. If you had a chance to give advice to your 17-year-old self, what would you say to your 17-year-old self?
I'd just say the quote that I kind of live by since I got into college, man, was what's meant for you will not pass you by. You know, all the hard work and everything you put in, man, it's going to all come full circle. And when it does, you'll probably be pretty proud.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, can I sneak another timeout in? Is that cool? You got time for another? All right, Jabar Muhammad's going to be with us. Talk about football when we come back, what to expect at Autzen Stadium on Saturday at 7 o'clock. More coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, On Point is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Football the way you like it.
Woo! That was some football.
The Oregon Ducks on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We'll be back shouting at Autzen Stadium coming up. 7 o'clock kickoff, Oregon facing Boise State. A couple final thoughts with Jabar Muhammad here for round 3 in the Country Financial Studio. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. You know, I was asking you a little bit during the break, like, the DBs, the other cornerbacks, the guys you're playing with. You know, what about them? What should we know?
Man, those my guys, man. Just in this day and age, in college football with the landscape, when the portal and everything, man, when I came in, those guys opened me with open arms.
Cool.
Literally, there was no animosity in the room, which there could be. There's no hate in the room, man. Like I said, those guys welcomed me with open arms. Even with my history with playing them and everything like that, man. We're like sponges. We pick each other's brains. We tell each other when we BSing, when we're not playing to our level. And man, the thing I love the most about what we do, man, is after practice, man, we just huddle up. No coaches, all the corners, just huddle up, man. We just talk about the day, talk about what we could have did better. I remember I had a few of the guys before on week 0. They came to the crib, just watched Dante cook some rotel. Dante cooked some rotel, man. Everybody was at the crib, man, just chilling, having like some barbershop talk. Man, it was cool, man. So, man, I really enjoy being around this group, man. It's a special group.
You know, to that point, like I feel like there has to be such a like a professional respect almost, from player to player.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially, man. I say this especially with DBs, man. Our job's hard enough as it is, man. We can't be in. We got to be in the room, together. We got to be in the room on the same page, man. So I feel like DBs click the best. Yeah. Probably us and O linemen click the best, man. Just knowing that. Man, we got to go out there and cover the opponent's best athletes for 60, 65, 70 snaps, man. So just having that camaraderie, just having that togetherness in that room, man, is special.
How important is communication? I feel like that's such an obvious question.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, man. Communication is very important. If I'm on a different page, man, that can be a bomb. That can be a touchdown. So I always got to be on the same page. Always got to you got to know your brother, man. Know who that is next to you. There's different relationships. I know what this person can do and what this person might not be that good at, so I might adjust to their plan. You know what I'm saying? So it's communication is very important.
If you weren't playing football, what sport would you be playing?
I'll be hooping.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be at this level. But
is there another close second with basketball?
I was football. I mean track, but. Yeah, with these days, these dudes be sliding. I can't keep up with them.
All right, so now I asked this to a lot of people that are big basketball fans, and I know that you probably haven't had a lot of time to play a lot of basketball yet. Mm-hmm. Who's the starting five from the Duck football team to play basketball?
Jabbar at guard.
Yeah. There's one.
Collar at the 3.
Okay.
Shaq at center. He's named Shaq.
Shaq, yeah, that's right.
Shaq at center.
Yep.
Who I got the 4 and the 2. Who I feel like can hoop at the 2. I'll probably just say Tez. I'll say Tez. And then at the 4, give me another big body. I need somebody who can. Give me Mark. Give me Big Mark.
All right.
Give me Big Mark.
Yeah. All right. There's some common names. So I bring this up to everybody who's like, no, I'd be a basketball person. And you'd be surprised. There's some common names that come up. Kyler Casper's been one.
Oh, yeah. You got to have Kingston Lopez at the – forget Tez. Kingston Lopez at the 2. Kingston Lopez at the 2. Kings Love at the 2.
That's DB Love right there, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jabar Muhammad joining us. Okay, after a 20-year career where you become a multimillionaire, what's next after football?
Man, I want to get fat and relax.
That might be the most honest answer I've ever heard to that question.
Yeah, man. I'll be when I'm done with it. I'll be done with it. I don't want to see no cleats. I don't want to see anything. I'm done with it. I'll probably dibble and dabble in some investments, but man, I want to get big. Enjoy my kids, probably. You know what I mean? Just enjoy my kids. Enjoy whatever I built for myself. Enjoy the family life. Like I said, I want to get big and relax, man. I want to be out of shape. I want to see how that feel.
I love that. Probably never felt that in your life. Yeah. What's the meal that gets you there?
Man. I couldn't say because like right now, I don't eat
yet.
that. I don't know. I don't eat bad.
That's awesome. Boise State coming up. What do you see from the Bronco offense? Some of the keys to success defensively.
Yeah, man. Obviously they have a really good run game. They have a really good elite running back in Ashton Genty. They have some really good receivers on the outside as well on the perimeter. Quarterback looks like he know how to manage that offense and run that offense pretty well. So it's going to be a good challenge to this defense. We got to be physically sound. We got to tackle really well and eliminate the explosives. But, man, that's a really well-rounded team that we're going to face Saturday.
Jabar Muhammad, everybody. You can come back anytime.
Thank you.
Hey, we're all glad you're a Duck. Mm-hmm. Thanks for spending some time with us on Wednesday night. Best of luck all season.
Thank you guys so much.
Jabar Muhammad joining us. All right, we're back. Jerry and Jorgie coming up. I don't know. We can't follow that. I just am never going to forget your answer to that question. It's one of the best I've ever heard. We're coming back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk, a message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside. Oh my gosh, Courtney, the Country Financial Studio. I'm still just almost chill bumps with that interview.
I'm already relaxing and I'm fat. So that
was an all-time answer. It was so real.
So last year, Marcus Harper told his entire 2-minute life story as what he ate growing up. Boy,
that was pretty funny.
This might I don't know. Jabbar might have topped
answer.
it.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad he's a Duck, guys.
Yeah, he's special. Yeah. Graduated at 19.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, and we say this every time we have a student athlete come in. I'm always amazed at just their personality, how well read they are, how nice they are, and graduated at 19. You kidding me?
I know.
I thought you were smart. He just passed you right by. He passed you right by.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
All right. Let's talk about. But last week we can't talk about. It's a W. All right, It's a win. I think you got to look at that. Boise State, not some good memories. I mean, you remember probably.
I'm sick of going home and hearing about Boise State. Let me put it that way.
They're going to come in just like Idaho did, feeling like they can play football against Oregon. So I think the Ducks probably. I think Coach got their attention after last Saturday's game. I'll just say that. Not that they weren't ready, but I think they'll be more prepared mentally for this game than they were last Saturday.
There will be improvement this
game.
You
want to say? I guess you're almost a pop. What do you want to say?
Yeah, what you just said.
Yeah.
There will be improvement.
We saw the post-game speech.
Yeah. And we've seen practice this week. Sharper, more attention to detail. And I wasn't in the locker room, but I heard from some of the players, a couple of guys that said it was like they'd lost the game. It was quiet. There was no celebration. They realized that they left a lot on the field, and I think that'll be corrected this week. I'm looking forward to it.
It's good to correct things after a win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Some interesting connections between Boise State and Oregon. 3 of their coaches coached at Oregon. Dirk Cutter was here for a year as an offensive coordinator. I think it was a year Oregon went to a Las Vegas Bowl. Eric Chenander is there.
DC.
Yeah, and the third one I'm forgetting.
Those were the 2 I was thinking
That's
of.
That's the 2 I know.
Yeah,
Coach Cutter and Coach Chenander.
Yeah, there's one more, but Boise State's had Oregon's number. I'm going to bring it up. Chip Kelly's first year at Boise State. Didn't finish well, but Oregon turned around and finished really, really strong. So Boise State's going to come in feeling like they can play football. I'm sure they looked at that Idaho game and said, if Idaho can play football against Oregon, we can play football against Oregon. So this is a game that has to start sharp.
Yeah, I mean, they know they're going to come to Autzen Stadium and see a better Oregon. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, I mean, Boise State has the players to be able to make things happen. And if Genty is able to get his running game going, watch out, because he's an NFL guy. He's strong, he's big, he's fast, he's very tough to defend. And when a running game works, the passing game works. And so Oregon's going to have their hands full, but I think they're ready.
For Boise State, third down, getting off the field defensively was a problem against Georgia Southern. I think that's a key for Oregon, is to keep those drives going and then finish those drives. You know, if you look at just the statistics of Oregon-Idaho, and you don't look at the score, you'd think, well, Oregon ran away with it to some extent. So I think finishing drives, and part of that's going to be third down. The key, if you're on the Boise State side, is get off the field defensively. I think if you're the Ducks, you want to sustain those drives and get into the end zone, hit a couple more explosive plays.
Run the ball.
Run the ball. Haven't heard
Gotta
that
run
yet
the
this year. Hey, there were plays
We
to be made.
haven't?
There were plays there to be made. That
There
was
were.
just a step away.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not broken, and I'm looking forward to seeing little fixes they do to make them a lot more
Night
explosive
game.
this week. Yeah, 7 o'clock start. We'll be on the air at 5 o'clock with our pregame show. A lot to talk about, some tremendous interviews this week. And Boise State, pretty much is all you need to know. All right, we'll be back on Friday. Joey's got the show tomorrow, Duck Insider, but Friday we'll do our picks. We'll talk about who won last week. What? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Not
Now I'm
big,
sorry I
though.
brought it up.
One's enough.
But I'm further behind.
Hey, we'll talk to you a little later in the week. Bye-bye. God bless you.
One's enough.
This has been the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Tonight's show has also been brought to you by Country Financial Insurance. Protect what matters. And by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks. Drink Pepsi. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.